What is going on then, guys? How is everybody? And today we are doing our week 3 Premier League predictions after another tough week last week. Obviously also messed up with the uploading. Hopefully it will be all good this week though. So we're going to get straight into it. And the first game that we have is in fact Chelsea versus Luton. Now, Luton didn't play last weekend due to being postponed due to pitch repairments. So they have only played once this season, so they have had a week's break. Chelsea, however, played 2, drew 1 to Liverpool at home and lost to West Ham away. West Ham are their bogey team. Actually, for the result at home was a good result as well for them. But for me, in my opinion now, I do think and see Chelsea seeing this out and doing a nice, comfortable 2-0 victory against Luton at home. I think anything other than a win for Chelsea is a poor result, personally. But yeah. Next one up, we got Bournemouth versus Spurs. Bournemouth drew 1, lost 1. Spurs drew 1, won 1. Spurs I was extremely impressed with against Man United, especially in that second half. I thought they were unreal. I thought Maddison and Basuma were a joke. Obviously Maddison did pick up an injury, so it would be interesting. I'm not sure how long he's out for, but even still Basuma looked good. Anyway, yeah, and I just thought Spurs looked extremely up for it this season, and that is why I've gone for a comfortable 2-0 Spurs victory away from home. It can be tough at Bournemouth, it definitely can be. Don't ever underestimate playing there, because it is a horrible place to go to and you are quite compact and closed in with the ground. But I just think going off of last week's result, I think they'll have a comfortable 2-0 win. Next up we have Arsenal-Fulham. Arsenal 1-2, Fulham 1-1, lost 1. Arsenal haven't exactly played major teams. You know, they played Palace and who was the other one? Forest. That was it. And I actually thought Forest done alright after scoring. Thought they were fairly in the game still. But for me, I do think Arsenal are going to make it 3 on the bounce and win 2-1 here against Fulham. I don't think it will be an easy game, but I do think they're going to have too much firepower. It would be an interesting game to keep an eye on, in my opinion. I think Arsenal are a team to actually keep an eye on this year. So I don't think they'll be as strong as last year, but I do think they'll be very strong still. Next up, we have Brentford versus Palace. Brentford, another team unbeaten. Drew 1, won 1. Palace 1-1, lost 1. Brentford, a team, I'll be honest with you, I thought we were going to struggle for goals with Tony being out, but they seem to be okay and managing well at the moment. Palace, lost big players in Zaha and things like that. So I do think there is room for them to struggle. But in this game, I think it'll be a very, very competitive game. And I could see it maybe a 3-2 game, quite open potentially. But I do see Brentford just edging it with that home advantage and winning 3-2. Next up, we got Everton versus Wolves. Now, this for me is 6-pointer already. Both teams lost both games. Both teams aren't great at the moment. Everton absolutely annihilated by an Aston Villa side who didn't even have to get out of first gear. Wolves dominated by Brighton, who again are a side that have started the season very strong. Truthfully, in this game, I think both teams are struggling to score. It's going to be whoever's defence can be better on the day. Because I do just think that both defences leak goals by us. I think neither team actually has a striker really at the moment that can score goals. So that is why I'm settling for a 0-0. I think both teams might actually also be scared to make that first move, because this is going to be almost like a game of chess where whoever can make that first move, whoever can get that first checkmate will win, in my opinion. Next up we have Man United versus Forest. Both teams won 1 and lost 1 this season. United absolutely battered by Tottenham, we already spoke about it. Forest, last minute winner against, I think it was Palace with Chris Wood, 2-1. Forest I don't think are a bad side though, however I don't think they're going to have enough. I think they'll be solid and they'll keep the game tight and close, but I do think United will edge it and win this game 1-0. But again, that might be another game to watch. I'm very interested in Forest this year. It could go down. Next up we have Brighton versus West Ham. Brighton 1-2, West Ham drew 1-1. You know, they were much better than Chelsea, but Brighton this season are so strong and so good, and I can just see them smashing West Ham, especially at home. 3-1 is my prediction. That's probably the more rogue one. That game could be very tight, but I just don't see it for me. I do think Brighton are a different gravy last couple years. Next up we have Burnley versus Villa. Burnley, similar to Luton, their game postponed, which was against Luton, but they lost their first game against City, and I actually didn't think Burnley played that bad. In all honesty, I thought Burnley looked okay. I thought they actually pressed well when they needed to. Villa, unreal against Everton, didn't have to get out of first gear, but were terrible against Newcastle, I'll be honest. That is why I'm going for a 2-1. Again, I think this game will be fairly tight. I think Villa may struggle to break Burnley down for the first 20-30 minutes. And I do also think we'll give them their first goal of the season. But I do also think that it will end up, eventually, as the game goes on, it will end up actually looking like more of a comfortable win for Villa than a squeaky bum time. Next up, Sheffield United versus Man City. Sheffield lost 2, City won 2. Again, I think City will be the next team to win 3 in a row. I think they're just unbelievable. So good. Phil Foden against Newcastle in that number 10 role was the best I've ever seen him play, if I'm honest with you. And that is why I'm going for a 4-0 Man City win. Dominant display, and I think Sheffield will be done down and out by the time it hits half-time. Newcastle-Liverpool. Newcastle 1-1, lost 1, battered Villa, lost to City. I thought they would have come with a bit more though against City. Liverpool drew to Tottenham, drew to Chelsea, beat Bournemouth, but they did also go 1-0 down to Bournemouth, so it still shows that they are vulnerable still, Liverpool at the back. And for that reason, I think Newcastle at home, such a tough place to go to. I do see them picking up a lot of points against all the teams in the league, and I've gone for a 2-1 Newcastle win, but it will still be a tight game. So just to recap on our weekly leaderboard, first week we got 6 points, last week we got 6 points. This week, what will we get? Guys, if you enjoyed, please drop a like, comment down below if you agree on what your predictions are, and I'll see you all in a bit.